So this is a fun one. We got a call here at Stronghold Powder from a gentleman that lives an hour and a half away. And he's like, hey, so I heard you guys do powder coating. He's actually a friend of the gentleman I did a part for a few weeks ago. And I was like, yes, sir, we do. What do you got? And he's like, can I ship you some parts? And he kind of gave me a description. So they are jack plates for audio plugs. What we need to do is disassemble them because they come as an assembly. And we need to match the powder color to this. This is the floor in the building that he's going to be installing these in, and he wants all the plates to match the floor. So he very graciously sent me a sample of the flooring to make my job a lot easier, so I appreciated that a whole lot. And then he sent me the 3 jack plates. As I said, they are all assemblies. They have a little sliding door in here that is going to need removed. They have the actual audio plug on them that is definitely going to need to be removed. And so we'll have to take these apart, get them into their individual pieces, and clean them off because they're kind of rusting underneath the paint that's already on there, and they're pretty scuffed up. So first things first, let's get these disassembled. Alright, so it's fairly obvious how all this is going to go back together. Now, these screws are part of the plate, so they have to stay on, so I need to find a way to cover them up while sandblasting so we don't risk damaging the thread. And what I've seen other guys in the industry do is a little bit of masking tape, because masking tape pulls off easily. But because masking tape is not durable, you then take a little bit of electrical tape and wrap up around the masking tape with it. Because the rubberiness of the electrical tape actually just kind of bounces all the sand media back and really makes the whole thing durable. Now, while it may seem like a lot of time to prep up for just sandblasting, it is actually infinitely faster than having to replace parts because you screwed them up while sandblasting. So this is superior to blasting and then having to replace those screws. It is always better to do the job right the first time than to try to do it fast and then have to correct it all. And that is all of our parts disassembled. I think that's ready to go. So what we got to do now is take the sandblasting cabinet that's sitting behind you, move it into the other building where my air compressor is, sandblast 11 parts, some small, some large obviously, sandblast them entirely, make sure they're super nice and clean, and then we're going to get these prepped up with acetone to powder. But that sandblasting cabinet is like 90 pounds. Well, nothing to it but to do it. I guess let's go. Okay, so I am a mess. It is a couple hours later because my air compressor still doesn't keep up with this sandblaster, but that's okay. I think everything turned out great. So next step is one I didn't tell you about because we are custom mixing this powder. So this is the stone sample that he gave me, and I have a powder that is almost exactly that color, but slightly off, and being perfectly smooth, it's not gonna match the kind of stony texture. So we're going to try to mix my 3 powders that I have to get something kind of like this. At least 2 of them. I have an ivory, and I have a white, and I have black. And I'm thinking if we mix the ivory and white, we're gonna get to this like off gray color. It's a super light gray, but it is slightly yellowish like an ivory would be. So I think if we mix those two colors, it'll get us both a grainy sort of look, and it will put it to closer of an off-white like this stone. I've never custom mixed powder before. This is gonna be fun. I think that's pretty close. So what I'm planning on is taking this mixture and coating 2 blanks. Just taking little blanks of steel and coating them and baking them to make sure that I like the way it turns out. Then if I don't, we can fiddle with it a little bit more, change the powders. But if I do, one of the blanks I will keep just to have. The other blank I will send with the parts back to this gentleman so that he can see the test blank. So let's get this all scooped up, put in my sprayer, and then we can go make some blanks here real quick. Okay, so these are just little rectangles. Alright, we got the test strips in the temporary oven, just to save me from firing up the generator to run the big oven. So that's in there right now, that's baking. We'll give it the proper amount of time, let it cure, and then pull them out and check out how they line up with the tile. I'm hoping it's accurate. If it's not, like I said, we can fiddle with it afterward. Well, there is our test sample. So here's our sample, and here's our tile. There's still a pretty substantial difference in there. I think it needs more white added to it. Okay, second attempt. That's as close as we were able to get. I'm not a fan. I think we can get closer, but I'm gonna mix a little bit of black in with it, I think. And hopefully the little touch of black will kind of darken the color and get us a little bit closer there. All right, so stone, template. I think I'm happy with that. That actually turned out really close. That's really close. I think we'll run with that. We'll go ahead and get these other parts all powdered up, get them baked tonight, and get everything sent back to this gentleman. Heck yeah. Hopefully the setup works well. I've been having some issues getting proper grounding. It's not attracting the powder. I don't know why. So hopefully we won't really struggle with that. Alright, so we got to degrease these. So what I'm doing is I'm taking, obviously put them on the hook, spray it with acetone really aggressively to make sure that it gets all the dust and oils off. And then we know our part is 100% totally clean. Alright, so all the parts are acetone, sandblasted, fully ready to powder. I kind of want to do these smaller parts first just to get them done with because they're sort of tedious. And then we can do the cover plates and the backer plates and all that because that'll actually be pretty satisfying. And now for the classic torture of waiting on that to bake. It'll be probably about 30 to 45 minutes before I can pull them out. And I've returned about 40 minutes later after promptly forgetting about it for 10. And it is done. So I'm gonna go shut off the generator and we can open this up and check it out. Let's go ahead and pull these out and hang them up so that they can cool off. I really like that color. I might copy that color for some future stuff just for myself because that looks good. I can see that as like bike parts, so doing that color as the highlight parts and the rest of the bike being black or chrome. That would look really sick. It almost has like a BMW vibe to it. I don't know why. Alright, now we just have to let them cool off for a little bit, and then once they're cooled off, we can take them to the other building and begin to reassemble all the jack plates. I'm really happy with that.
6.5 hours later.
Alright, time to gather up all the parts and take them over to the other building to reassemble. So this one is super straightforward. This literally just gets the audio jack screwed back together. Alright, that's one reassembled and done. Now for the two more complicated ones. Not bad, but still more complicated. I forgot, these plates have to go on here before that. Now, why do I have 3 of those plates? Now when you open that, you've got an exposed audio jack. Otherwise it sits down and it's nice and closed off from any dust and corrosion. And it's done. This is great thumbnail material right here, people. Time to package it all back up and get it ready to ship back to the gentleman. Alright, and then something I like to do is just sign one of the cards and say thanks for using us, and then I send them a few other business cards that they can share me with their friends, because that's actually how this guy found out about me, is another guy I did work for. So, I'm going to send these along, kind of help package things in nicely, just like that. Alright. That is all done. And you know what? That was pretty fun. That was really cool. Mixing powder is something I haven't actually done yet, and just was like, I really don't think that there's a better option than to try it now. So, went ahead and did it, and I think it turned out great. Sending the stone sample back to the gentleman, obviously, that's his. We'll make sure that gets back to him. And then he can check it out. Hopefully he likes the coloring. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. Really enjoyed it. To the gentleman that sent me this, if you watched this video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the work. I really appreciate it. And I hope it works well for you. To everybody else, I hope you enjoyed watching as well. Getting to see the process and a little bit of the experimentation that we got to do this week. But that is going to be it for now. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I look forward to posting again a tooltip video next week. Bye, guys.